Assessment using Web 2.0 technologies. A presentation by Peter Bishop, Impartial Fulfillment for Course Education 6610, Researching Computers in the Curriculum. When looking at assessing Web 2.0, there are a number of aspects that need to be addressed. Firstly, why should we bother to use it? Well, students find it interesting. It can be a motivator for the students in the classes that you teach. This hopefully will lead to a better grade for your students. It has been proven to be useful, according to Church of 2009. As I said before, it can be a motivator, but even more, it has proven to be a useful assessment tool, albeit limited by the amount of research that has been done to date. This can be done in a number of ways that we'll talk about momentarily. In a world that is technology-based, assessing by Web 2.0 tools allows us to practice what we teach. We live in a time when technology, or 21st century learning, is paramount. Secondly, what types of assessment can be completed using Web 2.0 tools? Teachers can use it for summative assessment. This can be done through wikis, blogs, e-portfolios, video assignments, and even online test forums. It allows for peer evaluation. Students are able to look at what the student has created, for example, in the form of a web page, or say it in the form of a blog, and thus make formative or summative evaluations based on their work. Much of the literature points to it being a very good mode of self-evaluation. For example, when students make a video of themselves, they can then quite easily go back and see what they did well and what they can improve upon. Thirdly, what are Web 2.0 tools? The Oxford Dictionary defines Web 2.0 as the second stage of development of the Internet, characterized by the change from static web pages to dynamic or user-generated content, and the growth of social media. These can be in the form of wikis, blogs, e-portfolios, online apps, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, to name a few. Methods. To select studies for this research, journals had to meet three criteria. Firstly, they had to include the word assessment in the title. Secondly, the word Web 2.0 also needed to be included in the title. Thirdly, the journals were only considered if they were peer-reviewed journals. Data was collected in the 10 studies by various means. They were either qualitative in nature, quantitative in nature, quasi-experimental in nature, or by mixed method. Each of the studies included one of the following types of data collection: interviews, questionnaires, reflections, surveys, or focus groups. Findings. When reading the literature, three themes on assessment using Web 2.0 tools came to light. First, formative assessment, which Wang 2009 refers to as those activities that are used to help students learn. Second, self-assessment. And then third, rubrics, which can be used to assess both formative type assessments and self-type assessments. Of the studies that used Web 2.0 as a formative assessment tool, the results were consistent, stating that it is an effective method of assessment. According to Law and Eugenia, 2011, students found that the Web 2.0 tools were useful in developing their abilities learned in their respective courses. The research also indicated that many of the participants indicated having learned a great deal through self-assessment when using Web 2.0 technologies. Terrell et al. 2011 reported that some students were amazed at their achievements and their increase in technical prowess. Finally, rubrics were found to be the best way to grade Web 2.0 assessments and thus limit subjectivity. That they allowed for consistency among teachers, according to Chang and Wu 2012, and that they were especially useful in assessing wikis, Lay and Eugenia 2011, and YouTube video assignments, Abendroth and al. 2011. Web 2.0 as formative assessment. As a formative assessment tool, it was reported that there are several benefits to Web 2.0 technologies. They provide teachers with a new assessment tool that can be used in conjunction with the other assessment tools that they already have at their disposal. According to Wang et al. 2006, an e-learning environment allows for greater learning since it provides more opportunity for a more diverse type of assessment. Finally, the very nature of the assessment through various types of Web 2.0 lends itself to an engaging type of assessment. Self-assessment using Web 2.0. As a self-assessment tool, Web 2.0 technologies were identified as having advantages and disadvantages. Students reported, firstly, that they felt Web 2.0 assessments were worthwhile, saying that they felt they had learned a great deal by producing and contributing to Web 2.0 technologies. Students also found that some types of Web 2.0 technologies allowed them to think and see what they had produced and then make it better, giving this form of assessment a metacognitive layer. Students also found that the digital footprint left behind, for example, by a wiki or a blog, was advantageous since it allowed them to witness how they improved as time went on. The one disadvantage that was noted was that some students did find working with Web 2.0 technologies distracting at times. Use of rubrics to assess student learning when using Web 2. When Web 2.0 tools are evaluated by rubrics, they were found to have many advantages. Firstly, they give consistent results amongst different evaluators. In one such study, 4 teachers were asked to grade the same piece of evaluation and came up with similar grades. Secondly, they can be made for practically any evaluation. Thirdly, they take out the subjectivity that would otherwise be inherent to some assessment tasks. Fourthly, they are also very fast to use by teachers, allowing them to grade assessments quicker. The one disadvantage that was found for rubrics was that they are initially quite time-consuming to create. Discussion. There are 3 ways that we can go about assessing using Web 2.0 technologies. First, we can assess through self-assessment. Students reported that their learning increased by using Web 2.0 tools as assessment tools. Self-assessment is especially useful in the assessment of wiki activities, and self-assessment lends itself to the use of rubrics. The one disadvantage that was found of self-assessments is that they are difficult to evaluate by teachers. Secondly, peer assessment can also be used as an excellent tool for assessing wiki activities, and like self-assessment, is also easily done through the use of rubrics. Evaluation of Web 2.0 can also be carried out by the Common Teacher Assessment, which can also be assessed by the use of rubrics. As mentioned, rubrics can be used to evaluate all 3 of these types of assessment. As said in earlier slides, what makes rubrics ideal is that they give consistent and reliable grades regardless of the teacher grading. The only downfall being that they are time-consuming to produce initially. Conclusion. The conclusions that were collectively taken from 10 studies were as follows. Students report that the use of Web 2.0 tools as assessment tools creates a positive learning experience, helping students to learn more. And finally, Web 2.0 can be assessed by both peer and self-evaluation type assessments. But the best way to grade either one of these types of assessments is by the use of rubrics. Implications. The implications from this research are as follows. It has been found that in the future, teachers and students alike need to make use of Web 2.0 technologies. In order for the assessment of students using Web 2.0 technologies to occur, the education system needs to make access to technology readily available to both students and teachers. And finally, students will learn if Web 2.0 tools are used as assessment tools. Limitations. There were also several limitations that came to light as a result of research. Sample sizes were small for many of the studies. As a result, it is difficult to draw significant generalizations from the data gathered. Also, the amount of literature that was available on the subject of Web 2.0 technologies as assessment tools was very limited. References.